Okay, what's going on, LBHT crew B? What is going on?
What's going on, man?
Man,
Not
it's
much.
it's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hope your week is going well. But if not, hopefully it gets better starting right now. Yeah, man, I see some people already here. We got Tony Hendo in the house. What's
What's up,
going on,
Tony?
Tony? We got Derek Weatherly's in here.
What's going on, Derek?
Let's see. My chat is not populating here. Let's try to get the chat going here. I'm trying to get your comments on the screen. Give me a second, guys. Let's get this going. We got to connect to the people. Yes. All right. Booyah Neezy's in the house says, "What up with the fam? What's up with you, man? Thanks for coming through."
See, I got Just Allo, Jay Will. What's going on?
Yes, Just Owl's in the house. Jay Wolf, click the button. I'm not sure if it'll show it on your screen here. We're trying out something new here, guys. I told you we're gonna keep
Going on, Agent E.
Agent E. We keep
I got Suge. What's going on, man?
Suge Knight 323 is in the house. What up? What up? Thanks for coming through. All right, we're gonna try to do this one more time. Try to have this ready, but it's not loading. You might have to sign out on your side, B. It's not gonna let us both pull it up. Doesn't look like.
What's going on, Eric L?
Eric L's in the house. Thanks for coming through, Eric L. All right, man. We ain't gonna hold you guys up.
Go ahead and sign now.
All right. We'll get the chat going here in a minute, but yeah, man. Look, we got a lot to talk about here, man. We got the Ravens versus the Browns coming up. We got Panthers and Falcons. We got a little NFL news. We'll probably start the show out with that. All right, but first, we like to start every show with a Black History fact, and B has a Black History fact for you.
First, I'm gonna go ahead and put in that Streamlabs link into the chat and go ahead and pin that.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
But yeah, so for the Black History fact, I'm not sure if a lot of you saw this story recently, but a couple out in Marin City, which is a suburb of San Francisco, had their house appraised for $995,000. This is a black couple, mind you, which is great, right? That's a lot of money. So congratulations to them. Except 10 months earlier, it had appraised for $1.4 million. And, they were understandably shocked by the loss in value. And they went and they got another appraiser to come through. They had one of their white friends sit in the house and pose as the owner. They got rid of all of their family pictures. They said they whitewashed the house. And their second appraisal came back a little over $1.4 million. So they are now going through the process of suing the first appraiser and the company that she works for, essentially alleging that they're undervaluing the house because they're black, right? Mm-hmm. And this is a thing that's gone on in the country a long time, and it's one of the ways that black people have been prevented from building wealth. Real estate is one of the main avenues of wealth building in the U.S. And they said that there's a study showing that owner-occupied homes in majority black neighborhoods appraised on average for $48,000 less than they should, essentially, and cumulatively that amounts to $156 billion in lost wealth for black families. And I just wanted to kind of tie this back to a practice that's been going on in this country for a long time called blockbusting. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It was the practice from realtors when they would go into white neighborhoods and essentially use the black boogeyman. They would bring black people with them, and they would pay black people to, push a baby carriage down the street. They would pay black people to start fights out in front of homes, and they would essentially scare white people into thinking that the blacks are moving in. They'd get the white owners to sell at a loss just to get out, to get away, and then they would turn around and sell those homes at inflated cost to black buyers who were trying to move up, trying to move, into the suburbs or into the cities and things like that. And again, like I said, it just goes back to the constant, practice of trying to deny Black people mobility, upward mobility, and wealth building in the United States.
Yeah, and Bouye Nezi, is it Nezi or Nezi? Bouye Nezi says Marin City is north of San Francisco, across the bridge, really white area that doesn't like Black folks in the area. I live in California. It's not all roses and daisies, like how they make it seem, I think is what you're trying to say. No places. No places. We've talked about it before. I'm in Columbia, about 10-15 minutes away from Baltimore. Baltimore is a very segregated city, right? You look at it and you say, well, that's a Black city, but it's very segregated. In fact, people that live there know the term black butterfly, white L, right? If you look at a map, you can see east and west sides of Baltimore are the heavily populated with Black folks, and then from north going all the way down to the Pratt Street, right? It goes down here, and by the harbor, it makes an L shape. That's where you have a concentrated amount of white people living, but that's also where all the resources go, right?
Right.
That's where you have your transportation. That's why you have the best jobs, best property, all that stuff. So, I mean, this stuff goes on even to today. I mean, that story be read. That was from this week, right? So, and Eric L says reparations will never repay what are owed. Yeah.
Mostly because we ain't never getting them.
Yeah.
But no, you're absolutely right, Eric. Absolutely.
Yeah. Dang says, hey, Columbia. Okay. She in the area? No, okay, that's what's up. Raven Ron, what's going on? He says, what up, LBHT? Let's get this win on Sunday. Yes, we are going to talk about that. But first, we want to discuss a little NFL news. I think we're going to switch up a little bit. We're going to discuss some news around the NFL, before we get into the Ravens talk, dive real quick into it. Real quick, we have an update from Russell Wilson, right? If you guys haven't heard about that, Russell Wilson has delivered his list, B. He has a list of teams. It seems like, if he were to get traded, these are the teams that he would be willing to go to.
Yeah, like the old OJ thing, right? I don't want out of Seattle, but if I did, this is where I would want to go. Mm-hmm. It's a really ridiculous list too. He's got
Ferris would not agree with you.
The New Orleans Saints. Well, Ferris's team ain't on the list. Ferris is a Chargers fan. But the New Orleans Saints, the Denver Broncos, and the New York Giants. Why to all of them?
I think he sees. I think he is a forward thinker. I think he's seeing past this year. I think he sees that the days are numbered for Gettleman in New York. I think obviously they're not going to be married to Danny Dimes moving forward, and there's potential there, right? They have some talent, and I think he's thinking, can nothing be worse than my O-line? So I mean,
I don't think they have. I mean, they've got some skill position talent. They don't have anything on the O-line. They don't have much talent on defense. The one I do get Denver. Denver has a solid O-line. Denver has some good young receivers. Denver has a talented defense, and Denver has money.
But no, they don't. Okay, the Giants don't have talent, but they have attempted, right? They've drafted O-line. It ain't working out, but that doesn't mean they're not going to continue. They're not going to continue to try to improve in that area. So, I mean,
yeah, but Russ is older. I don't think he wants to hang around and wait for a Giants rebuild.
Yeah.
Denver, I think, makes the most sense. I mean, obviously, New Orleans is a very talented team, but they are roughly, I saw it earlier, about $58 million over the cap this coming off season.
Which is why I won't be surprised when he ends up there.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that they won't get him, but Denver, I think, is in the best position to get him right now because they do already have the cap room. Yeah. They have a lot of talent there, and he would take them from battling for a playoff spot to a Super Bowl contender. I think pretty much by himself.
Yeah, who wants to play in Denver though? That's such a weird spot, man.
Yeah. I don't know. Russ is a weird dude though.
Like, you wouldn't think Miami, right? I would say, hey, if you can't work things out with Deshaun Watson,
Miami already picked their guy.
Yeah.
It's Deshaun.
You know, the Jaguars after they get rid of Urban Meyer. Yeah, Urban Meyer's not
No,
staying,
no,
right?
they
Like
got Trevor
Urban Meyer's,
Lawrence.
huh?
They got Trevor Lawrence. They don't need a quarterback.
Yeah, you can trade him.
Mm-mm-mm.
If a superstar like Russell Wilson says, "I'm willing to
Mm-mm.
go there," that rookie got to go.
Superstar 6-6 right now.
Look, man, had a lot of good times. It's
I'll
just
take
not
I'll
gonna.
take Trevor Lawrence's full career over 3 years of Russell Wilson because they're not ready to win either.
Yeah, Carolina Ravens says Saints would be fire. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all crossing our fingers. I mean, I know y'all aren't because you don't care because you're Ravens fans, but for the Panthers fans, we're crossing our fingers hoping that doesn't happen.
No one wants to know why the Giants on this wish list, man.
Because it's New York, I guess.
People want what they want, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Andre Mears, what's going on? He says, as crazy as it sounds, I would pick the Giants. Oh, okay. Okay.
That does sound crazy, Andre, but enjoy.
All right. Let's read a couple more comments and then we're going to talk some Ravens. There's Ferris right there. He says, I want to draft O-line. Russell can go to Denver. Spoken like a true New York fan, man.
You just drafted O-line. You got Rashawn Slater. You signed Corey Linsley. Like, what are you talking about, Ferris? Is that over already after 1 week?
Listen. He's a true New York fan. New Yorkers are never happy. That's it. No, unless they're just never happy. My father once told me, man, some people just like to suffer. They're not going to be happy unless they suffer. That's a New York fan. Okay.
Yeah. From any sport.
Mikey's in the house. Off the Record Podcast. What's going on, man? Thanks for coming through. Felipe Moreno says, I would trade Lamar for Aaron or Watson in a heartbeat, and you would be foolish to do so.
Deshaun? No.
Like
Aaron?
Yeah. No. Aaron, I mean, I like Aaron Rodgers, but Russell Wilson is funny because me and B talked about this. How many quarterbacks could come in to this team right now, this Baltimore team, the way it's constructed, and have success? And Russell Wilson is one of the few people. It's a very short list. He's one of the few people I would say could come in and have success. Better success? Probably not, but he could have some success, right? Because he's used to not playing with the O-line. Aaron Rodgers, no.
Yeah, and listen, you can make the argument that Aaron is a better quarterback than Lamar, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. But he's going to be playing for just a few more years.
Yeah.
He's too old for that trade to make any sense.
You know what would happen if Aaron Rodgers came to Baltimore? Do you guys ever watch those games or see what goes on in Green Bay? I mean, the drama he's had with his coaches. I mean, when Mike McCarthy was there, I mean, he would constantly call up Mike McCarthy. Even the coach that's there now, when they're not having a good game, he take these shots at the coach, right? Yeah. And let him know. What do you think he would be like with Greg Roman?
I think he'd be fine because Greg Roman wouldn't be here if Aaron Rodgers was coming.
Yeah.
They get a real offensive coordinator.
Harbaugh would be toast too.
I think they would. I think they keep Harbaugh until Aaron told him otherwise. Yeah. But initially, they keep him.
All right, let's get to the Ravens. Let's get to the Ravens matchup. B, post that link one more time because for some reason I didn't see it pop up in the chat. In the meantime, if you guys are looking for a super chat, we don't do super chat here. But if you want to highlight a comment, all you got to do is hit up that right there, right below B, $ LBHT Show, okay? That's our Cash App. That's a QR code. You can either scan it or you can just go to your Cash App and type us in. And you leave your donation, leave a comment, and we will read it on air. But B, Ravens versus Browns, part 2. All right, man. The last win was an ugly win. Now we gotta go to Cleveland to the dog. The dog
in the chat.
Huh? It's in the chat.
Yeah.
I don't see it. We'll see. We'll see if it pops up. But last win was an ugly win. This is part 2. They're coming off a bye. We're coming off an ugly loss. Mm-hmm. What do you make of this game, man?
Man, I don't know. Before the season, I said that Baltimore was going to sweep Cleveland because they're Cleveland, and just that's it. Like, they're not who they think they are, and that's true. But the Ravens aren't who we thought they were either. They've been playing really, really poorly. The O-line is getting worse, not better. They just lost Marlon Humphrey. It's really tough to say. But I thought that Nick Chubb and Nick Chubb would run wild on Baltimore in the first game. Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
They really sold out, and they shut him down. I still don't trust Baker to get the ball downfield to exploit the glaring weakness in Baltimore. And even if I did trust Baker, I don't really think they have the receivers to take advantage of that. So I'm sticking with it, man. I say Baltimore wins.
Man, we are winning these games close. Oh, Suge donated. Shout out to Suge, man. Suge says, Suge says, you better not lose to Cleveland this week. So here's the thing, Suge. You should want us to lose to Cleveland, right? We have the best record in the division. You need us to lose, and you need to win, right, to get closer to us, because we'll still be ahead. But if we win,
that doesn't matter when you're talking about Cleveland, though. Nobody likes Cleveland.
Well, that is true. That's a good point. That's a good point. Man, I'm gonna pick the Ravens, but man, we look so bad. And just listening to these press conferences, listening to Lamar talk about, we practice against zero blitz every day. It's just not showing up on the field. I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be another 13-10 type of win, but we'll pull it out, I'm sure. Let's see here. What we got? D3 says possibly Sierra could go act on Broadway. She can look, man.
She could probably do that anyway.
Yeah,
regardless of where Russell is playing.
Yeah. What we have here? Oh, Simply AS10 is in the house. What's up, Alex?
What's up, Alex?
Thanks for coming through, man. Appreciate you. Let's see. Yes, Danny D. She says we look terrible. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Sterling's in the house. What's up, Sterling? Thanks for coming through. Tony Hendo says, I like Cleveland when they bounced the Steelers from the playoffs. Yeah, I didn't really care about that game. Ferris says, nobody likes Cleveland. All my homies hate Cleveland. Well, I mean, look, man. No, Matt's your homie. He's a Cleveland fan.
There you go. We did get a cash app from our guy Couch Rider Raven. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just because y'all are awesome.
Man, appreciate you.
Right back at you.
Thank you. Shout out to Couch Rider Raven. Make sure you guys subscribe to Couch Rider Raven as well. He does Ravens content, and I saw you're doing a live stream for the game too, man. You wanna hang out with somebody a lot during the game, because we don't do that. I can't sit down for 3.5 hours straight, man. We did that for the draft. I was throwing a fit.
Yes. But yeah, like I said, with Cleveland, man, it really comes down to Baker and not believing in him, and I just don't think he has it. I don't think he can take advantage of the weaknesses that Baltimore has. If Wink gets out of the way, I think they can have another big day with Owe and Tyus Bowser, and maybe Justin Houston, maybe Living Legend gets that shirt this week. But Baker is just not the guy to go in there and exploit somebody's secondary, man. It's just not him. And their defense has been underwhelming, to say the least, this season. Yeah. So I think and Lamar, it is a rivalry game, right? Technically, even though they're the Browns, and Lamar's 5-1 against Cleveland. He's done some of his best work against Cleveland, and I think this is one of those times where the Ravens players will come out ready to play, because people are saying in the chat, nobody wants to lose to the Browns. Nobody likes Cleveland. Everybody dumps on them. They're the the little brother of the AFC North. Nobody wants to get embarrassed losing to the Browns. So I think they show up. I think Lamar plays well. I think Baker is a disappointment again, and Baltimore gets out of there with a win.
All right, Mikey from Off the Record says Ravens go 4-1 out of the next 5. I'll let you pick the one, but they're going to find a way to get it done. That's what I said. I said they're going to win 4. I think they're going to lose to the Packers. They'll beat the Rams. And then we're going to run the table in the AFC North. That's what I think. It's going to look ugly. Maybe one of those games will look good, and probably the Rams game. The Rams game will probably look good, and people will say, hey, we righted the ship, but really we didn't. All right. G-Star 007, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming through. It says, tough game. It's if it's close, we could win. Yeah, it'll be close. I don't think they're gonna blow us out. And look, the teams that we're playing had a lot of the similar struggles, right? They have a lot of problems over there in Cleveland that they're trying to figure out themselves. And really, I mean, we won even with. I mean, that was just a terrible game, and we still won it. So I don't think Lamar's ever going to play that bad again. And if he just plays a little bit better, we shouldn't have a problem taking care of them. Now, we have to. I think they're going to be a little bit more aggressive. I think they're going to try to run the play action a little bit more this time. Try to hit Donovan Peoples-Jones and what's the other receiver's name? Why am I blanking on his name? Jarvis Landry, right? I think they're going to try to get them more active because our secondary is hurt, right? I think they're going to try to add out just a little bit more. They'll take a couple more chances and see what our secondary is about. So again, this is where Wink can prove his value, right? Can prove how good of a coordinator he is. And we got another anonymous donation. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. He says, has Harbaugh cost Lamar at least 2 Super Bowl wins so far?
It should have said 1.
Two?
1 Super Bowl win so far.
I think
I mistyped it.
It's hard to say he cost him a Super Bowl because, I mean, once you get to the playoffs, I mean, like anything can happen. I think that first year, when we went and we were 14-2, we should not have lost to the Titans, right? Now, who we playing the second? Like, Kansas City was hot that year, so I couldn't say for certain that we would have beaten Kansas City. That's the thing. Last year, I thought we could have had a better chance, but again, it's just hard to say, man. I do think
I'm going to say yes.
I do think if we would have gotten past Kansas City, I think absolutely would have beaten the 49ers. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think they, not necessarily Harbaugh directly, kind of indirectly by having Greg Roman there. Because that 14-2 team, they were a top defense and a top offense, but not even just Greg Roman. It was a combination of all of them, right? EDC, Harbaugh, and Greg Roman, because they refused to go out and get wide receiver talent. They let Greg Roman run the offense, and they got to the playoffs and once again found out that it wasn't adequate. The defense was good enough. Lamar was playing great, and they just didn't have enough help to around him to get it done, and they should have. There was nothing that prevented them from having those receivers except just we don't want to.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I really hate to see. It happened with Carolina as well in 2015. Yeah, they looked great because Cam was tearing the league up. They had a top defense, get to the Super Bowl, and what now? You figure out that Ted Ginn and Jericho Cotchery aren't good enough? No, I mean, we knew all along. Same thing with Mike Remmers. Like, you knew, but you just didn't care enough to make sure that you had the talent that you needed to have there. You just put it all on Cam and said he'll get it done.
Yeah.
And they did the same thing with Lamar, and they still are. And, we see how that's going. We did get another cash app from our guy Ferris. Thank you so much, Ferris.
Appreciate you, Ferris.
Says, for the homies, screw Cleveland.
Appreciate that. All right, so Deshaun, shout out to Deshaun, man. He says, do y'all think Juwan James comes back? And if so, does he make an impact realistically? No. I think they're looking at it because they realize how dire the O-line is. I know he's back at practice today. He was back practicing. They might flirt around with it, but they should not bring him back. I don't think they should bring him back. And if they do, I think that'll be a disaster, just like with Ronnie Stanley. All right, stop rushing these players back when you know they're hurt. If you're that desperate to, for O-linemen, bring in O-linemen in the offseason, right? Like, you knew exactly what you were getting yourself into when you started the season out. Like, they volunteered to trade Orlando Brown. Orlando Brown, I don't care what he says, man. He's on his rookie deal. I don't care. You're going to play out this deal, and then we'll let you go in free agency if it comes to that. But just saying, hey, I want to play left tackle. All right, man. Well, guess what? Starting out this season, you're going to play left tackle because Ronnie Stanley is not healthy, right? And then when he's healthy, you're going to move back to right tackle, and you're going to play out the season. You're going to play at a Pro Bowl level, and then you can test the market that way. But we're not trading you right now because we need you. Nope, they couldn't wait to get rid of him.
Yeah.
They couldn't wait to get rid of him. So they chose to do that. They chose not to go after anybody else in free agency. They just waited for Villanueva, the last person really available in free agency, to be available, and said, good enough. You never played right tackle before? All right, go ahead. Go ahead and do it, right? Yeah. That's not investing in your O-line.
And this is something we talked about. It's a problem in Baltimore. It's we've been calling it complacency, but it's laziness. They don't do their due diligence when it comes to free agency, and just NFL players in general. What are their answers when they need veteran players? Devontae Freeman, washed up running back. Latavius Murray, pretty much washed up running back. Same with Le'Veon Bell, right? Those are their only answers at running back. Yeah. Their answer at right tackle was Alejandro Villanueva, a washed up left tackle who had never played right tackle. Their answer at wide receiver has been Sammy Watkins, a guy that nobody really wanted. They tried to get T.Y. Hilton, a guy nobody wanted. They got Des Bryant the year before, a guy that nobody in the league wanted for 3 years, right? You look on the other side of the ball. What's their answer at middle linebacker when they can't tackle? Before it was L.J. Ford, a guy that came off the street that nobody wanted. This year it's been Josh Bynes for like the third time, a guy nobody wanted. He got cut from the Bengals. And it's just, hey, we just go with the names that we already know. We don't do any due diligence. We don't see who's actually out there. And it's the same thing with Juwan James. Juwan James was a big name right tackle a few years ago. He got a big contract, and he's been hurt since then. And they said, hey, he got cut. Nobody's looking to sign him right now because he's hurt. He used to be good. We'll bring him in and see what happens. And that way we don't have to bother actually doing our jobs and going out and finding somebody who can play.
Yeah. Now, Deshaun, I don't agree with this. He says, speaking of Rodney, I think his best days are behind him. And if that's the case, our first free agent signing needs to be blindside tackle. Man, Ryan Stanley's like 27 years old, dude. His best days are not behind him. He had an injury, a major injury, and they rushed him back. Like, don't do like the Washington football team.
I was about to say, don't do like Washington with Trent Williams, who they gave up on him years ago. And Trent Williams is the best offensive lineman in the NFL right now.
Yes. The issue is when a player is injured, you need to let them recover. Don't rush them back because you need help. That's your fault, right? Mm-hmm. Let him recover. You didn't let Ryan Stanley recover. When he comes back 100%, we'll be straight there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Just Aloe says the Ravens are cheap. Yes, they are. Mama Wheezy, I don't know who you are. I'm not reading that comment. I don't know what that's about, but thanks for coming through the live stream. Hit the subscribe button. Garnett West, what's going on? Years of neglecting the line has finally caught up. Yes. Yes, Danny says the answers are always at the 99-cent store instead of Saks. Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's not even the 99-cent store. Sometimes it's what they find blowing around on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
It is just picking up litter.
Jason Moyer says, what's up? What's going on, man? Thanks for coming through.
What's up, Jason?
Yeah. All right. So let's get into some Panthers and Falcons. And, you can continue the Ravens talk in the chat. I know a lot of you guys are Ravens fans. Continue. We're going to pick it back up. But let's talk some Panthers and Falcons. Because, listen, man, the Panthers season is not over. It is not over. I mean, it's not looking good. But it is not over, right? David Tepper has sent a clear message. You will stand behind Cam Newton, right? And if your offensive coordinator, listen up, Ravens fans, if your offensive coordinator can't get the job done, then he's got to go.
Yes.
Okay.
They said that was specifically the reason that Joe Brady's out, because he couldn't make it work in the quarterback room. And that's not even just with Cam. That's with Cam. That's with PJ Walker. That's with Sam Darnold. That's with Teddy Bridgewater. He couldn't get it done, and so he was out. And, like you said, that's something for the Ravens brass to be looking at and taking note of. But yeah, this is going to be the first game with Jeff Nixon as offensive coordinator. Oddly enough, a more experienced coordinator than Joe Brady, because Joe Brady was never actually an offensive coordinator in college. He was just the pass game coordinator at LSU. And, it's Atlanta. Atlanta's bad. Atlanta's very, very bad. But they've got a few talented players. They play hard and everything. And if Cam and the O-line don't step up from what they were last week, Carolina could very, very easily lose this game.
Yeah. But I like the Panthers in this one, man. I think because look, Joe Brady, first shoot a drop. I know our brothers over at Panthers Nation podcast, at least David thinks that that gives Matt Rule some security, right? Getting rid of Joe Brady, that buys him a little bit of time. I don't think that buys him time. I think that's a clear warning shot, right? Letting him know, like, look, man, that could be you next if I don't like what I see moving forward, right? Because I don't believe that was Matt Rule's decision to get rid of Joe Brady.
No.
All right. So I think that is Tepper saying this is going to work. I've given you a lot of leeway. You guys have made these decisions at quarterback, right? You made a decision to get rid of Cam in the first place and bring in Teddy Bridgewater because that was Joe Brady's guy. You made a decision to give up a second-round pick for Sam Darnold. And you made a decision to not draft a quarterback and draft a cornerback instead.
Yeah.
Right? And the rumor is Tepper wanted Justin Fields.
Yeah. And
so
Matt Rule talked him out of it.
I
think the thing that might give Matt Rule some security is the fact that it's just an unattractive job right now. They don't have any clear answer at quarterback. They have a mess of an offensive line, and they don't have draft picks. They're missing their second and third round picks this coming season. So it's not an appealing destination at the moment. So if anything is going to give him some security, I think it's that. But I think his job is just going to depend on how they finish out the season. If they continue spiraling like they have been, then I think he'll be out. If they kind of stabilize and start playing a little bit better and maybe make a little bit of a push to try to get to the playoffs, even if they miss the playoffs, I think they'll give him one more year. And it's honestly it does look like they're going to miss it. They're only one game out, but the problem is they lost to Washington, they lost to Philadelphia, they lost to Minnesota. So all the teams who they're kind of competing with for those wild card spots have that tiebreaker over them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they shouldn't even really be thinking about the playoffs right now. They need to just be thinking about, stabilizing their team, getting the defense back on track. They're much more talented than what they've been playing the last, several weeks. Trying to get some answers on that O-line. And, Matt Rule has said that he thinks that Brady Christensen is more of a guard. And, I agreed. I didn't think he was a left tackle in the NFL.
Not right away anyway. Yeah.
But, I mean, at this point, what do you have to lose? Put him out there and see. Put Deontay Brown out there and see what he can do. See what you have in those young players, because what you have in the veterans. You have trash in the veterans.
Nothing. Yeah.
Right? I mean, the interior of their O-line is a travesty.
Yeah.
So get Deontay Brown out there. See if he can bring anything to the table. Go ahead and let Brady Christensen play left tackle a bit and see, if he can bring anything there. And start looking towards next season and see how you're going to get this turned around long term. Because, like I said, the playoffs they're not likely at this point.
Right. So Mr. J6 says, all I ask for is that we utilize everybody, keep them guessing. And I think they will. I think you're going to see Matt Rule put his best foot forward moving forward. Try to get everybody involved. Come up with a way to, maybe get the ball out of Cam's hands faster. Run as efficient of an offense as possible. Keep him upright and show that you can be competitive, right? The Falcons are a mess, but they are a team that if you watch them play, they fight. They're just not good. But I think that's what Tepper wants to see out of you guys, that you're not quitting on the season, right? And we got another donation, another anonymous donation. Shout out to you. What will happen to the Panthers in 2022? That's a excellent question. B?
Yeah, we went over it a little bit just now. I think if I'm gonna put on the old Nostradamus hat there and predict what I think is going to happen, I think Cam is going to finish out the season. I think he'll be better than he was last week, but not spectacular. And I think that they'll look to move on from him. And I think ultimately they'll fail. And he'll be back as a starting quarterback. But I think they're going to explore that. I think you may even see them take a shot on a quarterback early in the draft. I would expect that they're going to trade back from wherever they finish. Right now, they're projected to have a top 10 pick. I expect they're going to trade back from there, try to get some day 2 picks, recoup some day 2 picks that they wasted. So what I think is they're going to attack the O-line in free agency. I think they'll use that first round pick on a quarterback. Like right now, it's looking like Kenny Pickett. They're very interested in him. I'd also be, interested in seeing that quarterback out of Liberty, Malik Willis, I believe it is. But yeah, I think that they really need to focus hard this offseason on the offense. They haven't the past 2 off seasons. They've been focusing on the defense, and they've got a lot of talent there. And you see that they're still not consistent. They're still not playing well week to week. So I think that they focus free agency on the O-line. I think that they get a quarterback in the draft. I think that they'll end up bringing Cam back and kind of playing the mentor game.
Yeah.
This guy's going to sit for a year behind Cam. It probably won't play out like that, but I think that's what they'll sell to the fans. I think that Matt Rule will be back. I would prefer that he be gone, but I think he ends up returning for one more season.
All right. Score to the game.
The Panthers and Falcons, I think that, man, I'm going to say 28-24, and I'm taking the Panthers.
Oh.
Yes. I'm very, very tempted to take Atlanta because Carolina's a mess right now, but I'm taking the Panthers.
I'm going to say 23-16 Panthers. 23-16 Panthers. And I think we're going to see the Panthers. They're going to miss the playoffs. They're going to compete. Cam will look more and more comfortable. He'll look solid. It looks like he's picking up throughout the rest of the season. I think, yes, he comes back next year. I think, yes, they do look for a young quarterback, for Cam to kind of mentor. But then I think what we're going to see is Cam just balls out next year. I think he's 100% healthy. He's on a team where there's no misunderstandings, right? They understand you're the guy. We totally support you, right? We're on the same page, and you're going to see flashes of the old Cam next year. So I think 2022, to answer Anonymous's question, I think 2022 is going to be pretty bright for them. I think you're going to see a very competitive Panthers team next year.
I did want to mention one other thing that I forgot. Dante Jackson's definitely gone.
Yeah. We were on a panel of Panthers YouTubers, and shout out to Shelatron. Shelatron was saying that he believed that they were going to bring back Dante Jackson. And I was just like, if they brought back Dante Jackson, you should be extremely upset about that J.C. Horn pick, okay? Because you drafted J.C. Horn. And
the Stephon Diggs or Gilmore trade and the C.J. Henderson trade.
Yes, exactly. Like, they're not all coming back. And you don't need him to come back. I mean, without him, C.J. Henderson and Gilmore, along with J.C. Horn, is very dangerous. And you got Jeremy Chin at safety, so you don't need that. And
they've got Keith Taylor. They got A.J. Bouye. I mean, they've got guys. Troy Pride's coming back.
Troy Pride.
Yeah, that's a laugh at Troy, but maybe things start to click in year 3. Yeah. But Dante Jackson, there's no need to pay him.
All right. So are we ready for the lunch? We're not ready for lunch money bets. First, if you're new here, all right, I see about 30 people in here. Hit that like button and also subscribe. All right, we have a lofty goal. It's getting close here, guys. I'm not sure. We might have to bring it back down. Maybe 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year was too ambitious. Hey, we get that way sometimes. We're gonna say 850 now. 850. All right, we're coming back down to earth. Oh, you can do 900. We'll take 900 too. Hit that subscribe button. All right. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Check us out. All right. We do more than just Ravens and Panthers. If you've been keeping track, we put out a boxing video. Click on that. Okay, get some views up on that.
Because I know you haven't yet. But yeah.
And everybody that subscribed, thank you very much. Shout out to everybody that's been hitting up Cash App and the Streamlabs. Much appreciated. And if anybody else wants to support, we can give you a couple ways, right? One right below me. It's patreon.com/LBHT Show. Right, we do the show every Wednesday around this time, and after this show, we do an overtime show. And if you want to be a part of the overtime show, you go there and you can sign up for as little as $3 a month. We have two tiers, a $3 tier and a $10 tier. Be real quick. Tell them the difference between the two tiers.
The $3 tier will get you, both tiers will get you entrance into the overtime show and our Discord channel. The $3 tier will get you entrance into our Pick'em League that we do every year. This year, we kind of switched it up to a Survivor League where, you make one pick, and if that team wins, you move on. If they lose, you're out. And the last person standing gets a trophy. This year, that was OTR Mike, so we're going to be delivering a trophy to Mikey pretty soon. Congratulations, I guess. The $10 tier will get you into our yearly fantasy league, which will be converted into a dynasty league next year. And for that, we give out a custom championship belt at the end of the season. And also the $10 tier gets you the ability to request specific content, articles, videos on any topic that you want. And like I said, both of the tiers will get you into the overtime show and our Discord channel as well.
All right. And of course, we have put that link up to our store, man. Look, we have some merch. If you like what we're wearing right now, you like this? I actually wore this to work today, man. I wore this to work. Somebody's like, man, I like that shirt. Where'd you get it from? LBHTshow.com/shop. Okay. Christmas is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Christmas is coming. And I know if you're like me, you wait until the last minute to get some stuff because, you ask people, hey, what do you want for Christmas? I don't know. All right. Just give me whatever. And there's always going to be somebody that says, just give me some clothes. We got you. Mm-hmm. We got you. All right. You head over to that store. We got all kinds of merch. It's getting cold. You wear a nice beanie like B's wearing. Got hoodies. Got long sleeves. Right. And if you're still working out during this time, this is the time of year to work out, by the way. I love working out when it's cold because nobody is taking a look at you. Right. We still got tank tops up there. I don't think we took them down. We still got the tank tops.
Yeah.
All right. So take a look, see if it's something that you like. And if you like it, support the show. Sterling says that speaks to the popularity of boxing, which myself and Jose discussed earlier. Yes. Yeah. We're going to talk about that more a little bit later. Maybe we'll save that for the overtime show. This as well. Deshaun says, speaking of boxing, did y'all hear Thurman wants to fight Barrios? I don't want to hear from Keith Thurman anymore. I don't like to call anybody scared, especially Keith Thurman. One time Keith Thurman was a very good champion, but this man does a lot of talking and not a lot of fighting. So
it's all right though, man. It's a hobby.
Yeah. All right. Is our guest ready?
Yeah.
All right. It is time.
I know what time it is.
You gambling degenerates, get your notepads out. Okay. All right. Take notes. I know. I don't know how we did last week. We're gonna have Derek come up here and let us know how we did, but be ready because it's time for the lunch money bets, and we got our man Derek right there. Derek, what's going on?
Derek?
How's it going on, fellas?
It's going all right, man. How we do?
Well, it appears that fade train seemed to have a layover this week because I went 3-2 on the week. That
nice.
Patriots pick, people seem to be worried about. Y'all seen that came in strong. And even when I heard about the weather and the situations that may have come into play, I wasn't too worried. You hear something crazy like they attempted 3 passes the entire game, went 14-10. That just sounds like a Belichick coaching move. You got a hot team. You go into that locker room and you tell that team, hey, we can do whatever we want. We're going to go out here and do whatever we want. And this is what we're going to do because this is the circumstances we're playing in. And you saw what happened. Yep. So, yeah, I'm looking to keep it running this week and staying on, a positive move. like I said in the if to anybody that's in the Discord, I did have a few team point total plays that I went 3-1 on the week. So grand total NFL, I went was that 6-3. So I had a pretty good weekend this Sunday with the football. So moving on to this week, I heard y'all talking about the Cleveland Baltimore game, and going into the game, Cleveland is favored. Honestly, the thing that stands out most to me in this game would be that defensive line for Cleveland. We've seen just how much Baltimore can struggle with even marginal defensive lines and defenses. So I think that's going to be a real struggle in this game, and I think that's really going to possibly decide the way this game goes. And if Baltimore can't get things clicking and can't get things moving, I don't see a high-scoring game. I'm going to be on Cleveland in this one, minus the 2.5. I do think that they'll be able to work things more through the running game, limit what they have to rely on out of Baker. But
let me jump in just for a second here, Derek. We did get another Cash App from guy Mikey. Thank you, Mike. He said, just wanted to say the champ is here. Not for long. That's all right. Enjoy it while you can. And I'm sorry, Derek, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's all right. Everybody deserves their bragging rights when you earn them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in the Baltimore game, I do got Cleveland winning this one and covering the 2.5. Moving on to the next one, we got Carolina taking on Atlanta at Carolina. I'll be at the game. Minus 2.5. Both these teams have been ugly. Both teams have, not necessarily lived up to expectations. The defense has been underperforming for Carolina for a number of weeks now. And so I think it's going to come down to, honestly, it's probably going to be a coin flip, this minus 2.5. I'm going to be on Carolina because I think the better defense is going to hold out. My Atlanta has that dead body offense. You don't know if you're going to see something or not. So yeah, I'm on Carolina minus the 2.5 there. Moving on to the next game. This past week with the Kansas City game, I said take Denver in the points. Well, it was that pick six that honestly got me. Because if you look, the offense for KC only put up about 17 points in that entire game.
Yeah.
And I've been telling y'all, everybody want to say KC's back. Where'd they go? It's been the same team. We're talking about one play changing the outcome of that game greatly, even just on the scoreboard. So, yeah, I lost that game, that last week on the spread. But I'm coming back. I like the Raiders minus 9.5 again. It's at KC. It's another situation where you would traditionally expect KC to be strong. Mahomes in the offense, not the struggle. And that's just not what we've seen out of them this season. So I'm on the Raiders getting 9.5. That brings me to Baltimore versus Buffalo versus Tampa Bay. They got Tampa Bay minus 3.5. I think Buffalo's going to get this one. Yes, they've been struggling a little bit. I don't give too much weight to the New England game. You're talking about unusual weather circumstances. They didn't necessarily play a bad game, but it was just an ugly game all around.
Yeah.
Right.
Tampa Bay has had issues in the cornerbacks and the DBs. That minus 3.5, we've seen a number of games this year where we thought Tampa would win, pretty strong, and it came down to a final score, win by 4 or 5 points, maybe a final field goal. So I'm on Buffalo minus 3.5 there. And then that brings me to the last game of the week where we got Arizona and the Rams facing off. The Rams are +2, but like last week where I was with New England because we're talking about a hot team, and you don't get in front of trends, you don't get in front of hot teams. This is a team that even early in the season, they were winning on the road steadily.
Yes.
The Rams, there's a lot of dysfunction going on there right now. We're not sure what's going on with Stafford. we're pretty sure there's some level of injury or something going on, but they don't want to release anything, so we can't nobody say for sure. But it's looking like Arizona's back to full strength, at least on the offense. Their defense has been picking it back up. I'm on Arizona minus the 2. I think they'll win outright and cover that. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that game turned into a little bit of a blowout.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. We have a question from Raven Ron. Degenerate Ron, 2-game parlay this week.
Yeah, because last week it was winning Ron, but that parlay you wanted to put up, I see it didn't work out too well this week. Maybe it had to do with something with the merch coming in.
Oh yes, he got the merch there. That's right. Look it up real quick. The RIP to the South. That's something that you can get on the store. Okay.
That's right.
Yes. LBHTshow.com/shop. You can get you one of those. Yes, indeed. Raven Ron says this week he has Vikings -3 over Pittsburgh and 49ers -1 over the Bumgals. The Bumgals is what you put.
Wow.
All right. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Honestly, those were both 2 games that I was looking at to go with my slate this week. There's something enticing about that Vikings game. I know there seems to be this trend about Kirk Cousins, primetime games, and so on. But do you consider Thursday night a primetime game? Like, that's the real question there, because Thursday night has been its own issues and problems for teams, not because it was a primetime game,
right,
because it was Thursday and not a more convenient and practical slot in the schedule. So, I could definitely see the Vikings winning that one. And like I said, Burrow being hurt, I saw that finger. I don't know if y'all saw that finger, but he was a different player from the second on. I was watching the game, and so props to him if he can play, this Sunday. But I would definitely fade the Bengals with him and that finger out there, because even things like potentially taking the snap are going to come into play. So, yeah, I would definitely like going with the Vikings and 49ers in those situations.
All right, and we got another comment here from Mama. Oh, that's Raven Ron. Derek, I got to fade you again to win. That's what he says. And Mama Weezy is here. Mama Weezy says, D Weezy, I want a hoodie for Christmas. There you go. Well, all right. So there you have it. I appreciate that, Derek. And if you want to see some fire, some fire bets, join the Discord. All right. Join the Discord. You go to patreon.com/.
I've been telling them for a while to come and join.
Yes, join. He does NBA as well. Those NBA picks, wow. They will win you some money.
I'm sitting here tracking a big slate for tonight. I got a number of game totals. Like I told people in the beginning, play what you know. If you find something that works for you, go with that. I got hot with the game totals. And here and there playing some team point totals and just playing the over unders there, and it doesn't matter what the odds you get hot. It doesn't matter if it's just a simple little -110 play. That doesn't sound sexy, but when you having a night where you go 7-2, 7-2 sounds very sexy.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate you coming through. Are you gonna be there for the overtime show? You, Derek?
Oh yeah, I always come through.
All right, man. All right, we're gonna see you in a few. All right, Derek, man. Appreciate you coming through.
Thank you, man.
All right.
All right, everybody, take care out there.
All right, man. That's our man, Derek. And also, you can check him out. He writes articles every week on our website, LBHTshow.com. He writes Panthers articles, so make sure you go there and check out those articles as well. All right, B. Let's fire up. Bonus time. Let's do it. All right. I want to go back to this Keith Thurman thing for a minute because Keith Thurman,
you're a hater.
Look, Deshaun says it here. Thurman definitely be chirping more than punching lately. Yes. Yes, like that. But that's always been his thing, right?
When was his last fight? Was
Pacquiao.
Pacquiao his last fight?
Yes,
That's been a while, man.
it's been a
That's been a
while.
while.
Even Pacquiao's taken another fight since then. Man, I don't want him calling out anybody, man. Like, why didn't you say, hey, give me a rematch with Pacquiao, right? Like,
well, because he wants to win, right?
And the thing is, the crazy thing is, Keith Thurman can fight. He's a good boxer, right? But I don't know, man. Like, there's always been something off with him. Like, he's a good boxer, but I don't know, man. Like, he just don't want it like the other boxers.
But at least he's not running around calling out like Errol Spence anymore.
Yeah. Mikey said the same thing. Yeah, he needs to chill with all that calling out. Look, we'll see, man. We'll see. But check out our video. We discussed some rising stars in boxing, especially in the lightweight division. So there's a few fights that happened this past week, or over the past week. Teofimo Lopez, who lost surprisingly to George Kambosos. But I think Teofimo is still a rising star in a division.
Yeah. Jojo Diaz and Devin Haney, and then most recently Gervonta Davis fighting Isaac Cruz. So good fights, all of them. Those guys didn't perform quite as well as many people expected, but three very good, very entertaining fights.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna do some overtime. Leave your comments, questions in the chat. We'll be here for a few minutes, and then we're gonna hit up the overtime show. And if you want to be a part of that overtime show, right below me, patreon.com/LBHT Show. All right, let's see what we got here. Raven Ron, he was talking to Derek. He said, Derek, next month I gotta get your NBA picks. Seattle should have sports betting everywhere by then. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all saw, but my Lakers showed up last night. Showed up and played defense for the first time this season. Put a nice little beating on Boston.
I actually watched it. That first half, I was just like, man, you need to get Westbrook out of here. He's missing everything.
This is what I told y'all. I told y'all from the
But he showed up in the second half.
The moment they even mentioned Russell Westbrook, I'm like, I don't want Russ. Russ can't shoot.
He showed up in the second half.
And Boston was straight up not covering him behind the 3-point line.
He showed up in the second half, and he did something. I wish I need to start clipping this stuff, man. He showed up for his boy LeBron when he went up to Mr. Freedom. Mr. Freedom. It clapped in his face like, "What's up, boy? What's up?" Talking all that trash. Where you at now? And what did Mr. Freedom do? Nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
He turned the other cheek.
Yeah. Now you're all about peace, right? Right. You want to be in LeBron's face, but when his boy comes up to you and says, "What's up now?" You ain't got nothing for him. Right?
Ennis is a clown.
Ennis is a clown, man. Like we talked about that on our.
I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, but
I knew. I told you that this whole thing was suspect from the get-go, man. I told you. I said he's making it about civil rights and all this stuff, and he's for the people and all that. Look, I can spot a fake like that a mile away. I said it's only a matter of time before he makes all the rounds on Fox News. He's on there with like the worst people you could possibly think of, and don't be surprised. He's gonna start doing these speeches and campaigns for that group of people. He's gonna start getting the money from shady areas. Like that's Enos Cancer. That's Enos Cancer. And this is
Enos Freedom.
Yeah, Enos Freedom. Yeah. That's just part of his grift. So, it is what it is, man. But LeBron did the right thing. Just not even. I wouldn't even have spoken on him at all, man. Like, but whatever. Raven Ron wants to know.
But Russ is always ready to go. That's the one thing that you cannot help but love about Russell Westbrook.
Raven Ron wants to know: does Fizdale need to be head coach for the Lakers to make it far in the playoffs and kick Vogel to the curb?
No. Fizdale? No.
I think it's whatever LeBron says it needs to be.
Listen, the Lakers are fine. It's early in the season. They still, they're still trying to gel. They haven't really been playing together with their full roster. They're still missing Trevor Ariza for whatever he's worth at this point in his career. But, they just need to get healthy and get some reps together, and they'll be just fine. Dave Fizdale does not need to be a head coach of anything.
Listen, no, he doesn't. Neither does Vogel. I'm serious. It's whatever
LeBron. I'm sorry. NBA champion Frank Vogel.
Listen, just like NBA champion Tyronn Lue. It's whatever LeBron is comfortable with. That's my honest answer. If he says I'm good with Vogel, then you roll with Vogel. If he says we need a change up, then you change it up. I'm not going to question anything LeBron says at this point. Like, people make it, they talk about like it's a joke, right? Like they mean it as a diss when they say, oh, LeBron runs these teams. He does run these teams, and he knows what he's doing. So LeBron says, this is how I want it.
LeBron, he out here looking like EDC, getting all these 33 plus year old guys.
Because basketball is a grown man's game, and
it's a grown man's game. It's not a geriatric man's game.
Look,
he needs to listen. This time they did bring in some youth, and I was very happy about that. They brought in Kendrick Nunn. They brought in Malik Monk.
Monk needs to get more minutes. By the way, me and Coach talked about it last night. We already decided Malik Monk, give him more minutes, man. He's balling.
Taylor Horton Tucker's, he's been there for a few years now. He gets to play and everything. But I just, swapping out Dennis Schroeder for Russell Westbrook, that's a loss.
And thank you, Raven Ron. He says, good answer, Jose. That's right. Danity, what are we talking about here? Well, will the Wizards be the 1 seed? No.
What?
The Nets.
Come on, Danity.
The Nets.
Come on, Danity. Don't let it do it. Don't let them do it to you. All right. Don't be buying those early season dreams. All right. They're not even the 1 seed now, right? They've fallen, haven't they?
No, they're not. No, the Nets are the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
And we're gonna stay that way. We're not playing around this.
Danity, I don't want to sound harsh. The Wizards suck at basketball still. They were hot at the beginning of the year. They were hot, and I believe they were 10-4. They are now 14-11. Yeah. They're bad at basketball.
Carolina Raven says, "I'm back. Welcome back, man. You came back at the end." Yes, yeah. And Jay's here too. He says LeBron is just that person, a player, political, and coach, and a dad, and a husband, etc. Yeah, man. Love LeBron. Like, we're huge LeBron fans.
I will say that with the Wizards, though, I do wish LA had kept Kyle Kuzma. I like Kyle Kuzma a lot. I also like Hachimura. Would love to have him in LA. But as a whole, no. Wizards ain't it.
Yeah, and Jay says he's a Wizards fan, by the way. Yeah, that's cool, man. There's a lot of Wizards fans,
Yeah, but, not everybody has to like good things.
Everyone says anyone can take his Pacers players. Man, I would love to get Karis LeVert back.
Yeah.
I would love to take him back.
Yeah, Sabonis is available, and Miles Turner as well. They're going to Tank Town.
Yeah. Matt Williams, I said your the thing here. It says Bateman gets his first TD this Sunday. Man, we gotta stop saying that because
for like 5 weeks.
We gotta stop saying this stuff.
Every time somebody says Rashad Bateman gets his first touchdown, he loses a target.
Look, we're gonna finish this on a Ravens rant real quick, and then we'll get out of here. Like, honestly, there are is it like 25 people in here? Do you guys think we're being too hard on this coaching staff? Because I'm looking on Twitter. Obviously I don't care about keeper Twitter, but I'm seeing on Twitter just people saying, hey, it's not on Roman. Lamar's got to do better. Absolutely, Lamar has to do better. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But my thing is this: when somebody showed this clip, it was Dominic Foxworth was saying, look, I see him throw it off his back foot, and it's an interception. You're thinking, well, what are you doing? But then I see another game where he does the same exact play and it goes for a touchdown, right? I see him miss this one play and I'm like, well, why are you throwing it there? But then I look at another game, he does that same play and it works. So it's one of those things where you let him do it, right? It's something he shouldn't be doing, but the coaching staff is like, well, it's working, so we're not going to change it. And then when it comes back to bite you, it's just like, well, he has to make a better read. You're not coaching him to do that, right? The things that we're talking about he needs to do, this is where the coaching staff needs to come in and say, yes, it works sometimes, but you can't keep doing that. This is what you need to do. You have to look for the safer passes, right? You have to stick to the game plan. And I know they're not telling him that, right? because this man has been carrying this team from the jump. So I know nobody in there is telling him, just stick to the game plan. It's going to work.
And you can't tell him to stick to the game plan because the players don't buy into the game plan. And you can see that when Rashad Bateman is liking, posts talking about free Bateman, and Hollywood is retweeting those and talking about, if you got soldiers, you got to use them. And David Culley is calling out the coaching staff for holding back Lamar, and Des Bryant is calling out the coaching staff for not doing a good enough job. They don't buy in. They don't believe in Greg Roman.
And everybody in the chat saying, no, we're not being too hard.
Yeah, they know they've got enough talent, and they don't believe in the coaching staff, and it just kind of is what it is at this point. And I think that a lot of the players in Baltimore are just kind of waiting until they force Greg Roman out.
Yeah,
and they believe that they'll take off then.
So, we don't have anything personal against Greg Roman, right? We don't hate Greg Roman or anything like that. But
listen, far from it, because he is one of the very few NFL level coaches who said, you know what, I'm going to take these running quarterbacks and use them, to their ability. It's just that he doesn't have any tricks outside of that.
Right. And again, drawing parallels to the Panthers, right? Shout out to Cody from was it C3 Panthers? Is that the name of their channel? Yeah. They were talking about Joe Brady, and he was pointing out something that Ted Nguyen had posted, right? That basically the O-line is horrible in Carolina, and you can't blame Joe Brady for the O-line. We say the same thing. I hear people say the same thing over here about the Ravens. Can't blame Greg Roman for a horrible O-line. And I said it before. You put Lamar behind that terrible O-line and say no excuses. You have to play better. Well, the same goes for you as a coach. You put him behind that terrible O-line, and you don't have a game plan for him. There's no excuses for you either. You have to drop a better scheme. You have to coach better. You have to make him successful. That's your job, right? And and Cody has said something in a tweet saying, "Hey, Joe Brady is not the problem, right? He's not the problem here. It's just that his scheme, or the players don't fit his scheme. That's what he said. Players don't fit his scheme. That means he's the problem." If you have the whole team that's geared for one system, and you have a coach that coaches another system and can't adjust to those players, then that coach is the problem, right? And what we have here is Greg Roman not being able to adjust to what we have on this team. So
right, what I always say is that having a scheme doesn't make you a good coach. You didn't invent your scheme. You didn't come up with it. You're not running anything different than every other team in the league is running. So having a system that you like to run doesn't make you a good coach. If you look at Carolina, you say, hey, we don't have the quarterback to run what I want to run. We don't have the offensive line to be able to protect enough to run what I want to run, and you run it anyway, then you're a bad coach.
Yeah,
your job as a coach is to adjust to the talent that you have. That's why everybody loves praising Bill Belichick so much, and it's funny because people recognize that in Bill Belichick, right? You go out there and it's Mac Jones. He doesn't have the strongest arm, and he's not particularly good. And you say, we're going to throw it 3 times, and we're going to run all night, and we're going to beat Buffalo that way, and everybody's praising it, and rightfully so. But you don't recognize the opposite when it's happening all over the league. You don't recognize when you see coaches in Carolina saying, hey, Sam Darnold, I know that you can't play behind bad O-lines, and I know that you're an inaccurate quarterback, but here, we're going to go into an empty set, and we're going to ask you to just make throws all day.
Yeah.
It's bad coaching. And, Joe Brady, it seems like, he was a scapegoat in Carolina, but it does seem like maybe he was a little too much too soon. He was just the passing game coordinator at LSU, and he was the hot new name. He was kind of being fast tracked to a head coaching job, and like I said, it's just a little too much too soon. It's fine for him that he got fired. He'll go back and get an offensive coordinator job, and he'll be a head coach in the NFL within the next few years. And I'm sure he'll take this as a learning experience.
Yeah. And when we get rid of Greg Roman's going to be gone, right? Like, it's inevitable. Like, I don't see him coaching past this year at this point, right? That's another thing I wanted to bring up earlier, and then we're going to get up out of here. More and more players are calling him out. more and more players are calling him out, and it's subtle. You know, it's Lamar just making these little comments. And Matt Williams said something about it earlier. You know, he says Lamar today said they blitz in practice all the time, right? They practice for it, but it doesn't show on the field, right? You hear Hollywood, you know, say it a couple of times. He made comments about the offense. Des Bryant's made comments about the offense.
We did get another anonymous Cash App. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It says Harbaugh, Roman, and Wink need to go.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they need to clean house over there.
Yeah.
And just get some fresh ideas in Baltimore.
That's what's going on. It's not about how good or bad of a coach they are. It's just the players aren't buying in. That's the number one thing. The players need to buy in to what you're selling, and they're not buying in right now, right? And it shows. So it doesn't matter what scheme you're drawing up. They're not buying it. You need to get a coach in there that they believe in, right? Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much what it comes down to. Derek, our man D Weezy says the Pounding Panthers Chronicle has been critical to the coaching staff in Carolina. Yes, that's right. Because D Weezy, he's been on it. He's been on it for a minute. That's right. And you can watch, you can read that at LBHTshow.com. All right, that's where you can find those articles. Our man Mikey says, I think we need a change, but what worries me is I know they will hire in-house and it won't be T. Martin or Keith Williams. He says the other guy, Keith Williams, what we talking about. I think it will be T. Martin. And I'm okay with taking a chance on T. Martin. But look, whoever they hire, because the thing is this, if they fire Greg Roman, it's because things aren't working out. The next person that they bring in, it has to work out. If it keeps going downhill, then Harbaugh's fired.
Yeah. And if it's going to be T. Martin, I think they need to make that move now.
I
give
agree.
T. Martin the last 5 weeks of the season, and potentially the playoffs to show what he can do. What I don't want to see, and I like T. Martin. I think he's a fine coach, but I don't want to see Baltimore go into the offseason, get rid of Greg Roman, and just say, hey, we're going to promote the guy who was working with you all year.
All right, couple more comments and we out of here. Raven Ron says, can Lamar throw a fade pass to Roman out the stadium? I think he can. Danny says, if we win a playoff game or two, Roman's staying. I'm not worried about that.
It depends on how they look. It
depends. And we'll leave it here, and we're going to go to overtime. Tony Hendo says, how do we completely waste Lamar's rookie deal? We're going to discuss that in the overtime show. Oh, Attitude Pop. What's up, Attitude Pop? What were your comment real quick? Came in at the very end. I think Lamar has outgrown Greg Roman, and I think Lamar is playing bad on purpose to get Roman gone. All right, we're going to discuss more of this on the overtime show.
One of those things is true.
Yes. Yeah. If you want to be a part of the overtime show, if you got $3 in your pocket, if you were thinking about buying 2 king-size candy bars, right? If you were thinking about it, don't worry about that, okay? You sign up for $3 and hang out with us in the overtime show because we're going to discuss this right now. All right, for our patrons, give us a couple minutes. We're going to get that started. Everybody else, you have a good night. And B, you're ready for the outro, right? You ready?
I will be in a second.
You ready? All right, y'all.
I will be in a second.
All right. Oh, Kingbird is here too, man. I didn't even see you.
What's up, Kingbird?
Yeah, shout out to you, Kingbird. Man, everybody came in at the last minute. I appreciate you though. If you missed the show, watch the replay, and we will see you next time. Peace out.